So the phone is getting tucked into the helmet. There we go. It's sitting right in front of my mouth and nose on the chin piece. You can see the speedometer out there on the back of the headlight. The blue light, this is a high beam. My low beam is burned out, but the high beam's been used so much, the lumen production on it is about equivalent or less, most likely less, than a new low beam light. And I was going to rebuild it into an LED. The highway lights on either side are the same size, these little chrome things here and here, they're the same size as aircraft landing gear lights, so you can make it really bright. White paint gets very slick. You'll notice that people don't really flash their lights. Like you can't, I'll wiggle. You can't really see the lights. You can kind of see the shadow, the line on the side, and it hits up the signs reflect pretty good. But those rolls of the hill. All right, I'll shut up. Got the choke with one. My bad. So you don't want to shift on the corners, big dog. And you see all that debris sitting on the road that you can barely pull out on the inside? Like here, there, you see it right there to the right of the wheel? Like the heavy rain knocks it off. Those wet leaves on the wet pavement, oh, it's like, you don't think you could make ice more slippery, but that ice is simply more slippery. There. I don't know. I bet she's cute. That's funny. Sorry. When you spend a lot of time working alone, you mumble to yourself. I was thinking about a pretty good joke setup. Alright, the road went away. And we got brick. And we got loose stone. And we got manholes. Oh, and we had a stoplight I didn't pay any attention to. Shit. Oh wow. Well, that worked out luckily. Maybe. like you gotta get an off-roading suspension. You'd think you'd be in a third world country. They go down to the brick, but the brick's so hard it tears up their machines, so they don't like to go below the brick. And the brick could act like aggregate, but the problem is there wasn't enough stone underneath the brick. So if you don't manage the water, you just rebuild it every year. So now it's more of an urban setting, but you got wet bricks, and that road that we were on, the speed limit is 40, and I was doing 35. Here's, right there's 35 with street lights. I got a better road. The road I was thinking of was Boston Heights, like Boston Mills Road, with those curves and those rolling hills. The rolling hills of a countryside, they're killer, because the speed limit's like 35, but they go up and down so quick that you get a driveway sitting on the blind side of it, and you're hosed. So this motorcycle has 69,268 miles on it. And the one before it, I took over 100,000 miles. And it's not that I am an inexperienced operator. The paint, when it's wet, gets really slick. So when you change lanes, watch where the dots are, and don't change on the paint, which means don't look at the paint, but look at where the gap is. Notice on the road where it isn't shiny, and then change lanes through the gap. And if you look at the sheen of the road, the big dog, when you're driving and it's wet, it'll let you see, like, you know, shiny or slippier. So like the white paint at stop signs and stop lights is bad. Crosswalks, fresh crosswalks, brittle leaves. Puddles in the fall, some puddles will be ice, although that's more common in the spring because the ground can still be cold. So this was from Cuyahoga Falls to the west side of Akron as a test, and I think it worked out okay. I'm using where the better camera sits is squarely against the end of my nose, pushing on it. It's a bummer because you can't tell what's behind you. Guessing Jeep or GM the way where the hazard lights are on the front. I don't actually know. SUV of sorts, guessing. They're mindful. They leave distance. That's nice. Another advantage is the tail lights in the bike I changed out to LED, and when you hit the brake switch, they go really bright, and then they flash really quick, and then they slow down. So it like lets you know. So, and then it flashes if you hopefully get their attention better. I know a couple people that while they've been riding got rear-ended, and it's unpleasant. With the backrest it'd be worse, because energy is going to go into my spine rather than just hit the bike with no backrest. You're just going to kick the bike out from underneath me, and then I can fall on your hood. I'm going 30 miles an hour right now. I'm going to speed it up a little. just a little bit of a hesitation out of it. Alright. Pick your gear before you start braking. I like to set up inside, outside, inside, outside. Like, even though I'm not going fast, can I practice making the arc? Like, can I hit the line? Like, if I was racing, was that the line that I should have been on? That is 35 miles an hour right there. With street lamps and headlights. Like, things just happen quick. One good looking garage door. I don't know who lives there, but I bet you he's awesome. Look at that. Alright. Thanks for taking a ride.